All right, guys, ladies, happy Saturday night. How is everybody doing for this Total OS Hangout evening? Hope everyone is doing well. We'll get started here in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit about a new toy I bought. And so far, so good. But we'll get started here in about a minute or so. I'm just getting situated. And yeah, I try to do these usually on the weekends. And so, yeah, we're here. We'll talk about the ThinkPad, the T480 ThinkPad. And what does $200 buy you? Not bad at all, actually. Alright, so what I did earlier, just recorded a short video of the ThinkPad installing Windows 11. So what we're looking at here, those of you who are watching this podcast, I just recorded a short 2-minute video. I'm just going to play the loop for those of you who join in here as we go along. So yeah, a ThinkPad T480, and I believe these were built between 2018 and 2021. Now they came in different configurations, 8 gig and up, different processors, i5, i7s. Even some of these even had NVIDIA dedicated graphics, NVIDIA something X150, I think, something like that. If you're planning on doing gaming or video editing, I would strongly recommend you get the one with the built-in graphics card. This will play games and do video editing. I tested it, but yeah, it's without the boosted graphics, you'll be waiting a long time to render your video, but it does do video. So for this, I created a Windows 11 USB stick. I did a fresh install of Windows 11. Not an upgrade, but a fresh install. The installation took about 30 minutes, including reboots. Very fast for a, this I believe was a Core i5. 8 gigs of RAM. I created the USB Windows 11, not a problem there. Nice looking machine. This one has a lighted keyboard. Notice the metal hinges for those of you watching this. I did go into the BIOS for the default settings. I did check the TMP, turned it on, so I would have no conflicts with Windows 11, and the installation process went smoothly. Again, about 30 minutes or so, including rebooting and all that. I did do some other installation software after the basic install. I think I installed the Lenovo ThinkVantage software to test the battery. I believe the current battery, and by the way, I did buy an extended battery for less than $50, so I get about 8 hours of battery life with this thing, or more, which isn't bad. It almost functions as fast and as long as a Chromebook. Imagine that. So the ThinkPad T480 with a fresh install of Windows 11, not bad at all. It runs the way I want it, the way a ThinkPad should run. And by the way, if you wanted to install Linux on this, I've talked about this before. ThinkPads love me some Linux. I thought about installing Chrome OS, but then I thought I really don't need another Chromebook. I already have 2 of them. So I decided to install Windows 11, kind of an experiment. I believe this one had originally had Windows 10. Windows 11 is fine. Now, the speakers here are at the bottom of the unit, so very important for consumers who have their ears attached to their genitals. I don't know why speakers are at the bottom of the laptop. I mean, is anybody born with their ears next to their cojones? I'm just saying. The speaker should be at the top, on the side of the laptop. I'm just saying. Am I right or wrong? Anyway, but that's a different rant altogether. I like the track point on this. The little red button there in the middle is pretty cool. And again, the metal hinges. Yeah, this is just a solid tank of a machine that can take punishment. Not that I recommend you dropping it or anything like that. So, as I stated, the installation process went quite smoothly with Windows 11, and considering this wasn't the top end of the ThinkPad T480s, I think it flies along quite nicely with a fresh install of Windows 11. And let's see, did I miss anything installing this? I don't think that I did. Yeah, so far the machine is running quite nice. It does have HDMI out, fast USB-C charger, a couple of USB ports, and yeah. Oh, this also has, these were configured, I think they called these Power Bridge at the time, where you have an internal battery, an internal battery, and an external battery. And so it should give you all-day battery life if you need more power, as Mr. Schwarzenegger would say. So the ThinkPad T480, I'll just say it again, the ThinkPads are fantastic. They are the best deal in renewed or refurbished machines, starting at about $200, sometimes even less, depending what you're looking for. You don't have to spend $1,000 to get a nice machine. The only downfall, again, of the speakers at the bottom, in case your ears are, down below. A webcam privacy shutter, which is cool. I appreciate that. A nice keyboard, lighted keyboard. Some of these came with the fingerprint scanner. This one does not. I guess it would be nice to have, but I never used the fingerprint scanner. Anyway, so it runs fast. It boots fast. Windows 11 is perfectly fine on this. I haven't noticed any bugs or anything like that. And it runs the way I want a machine to run, meaning no bugs, stable, don't have to fix anything. And so far it's been just about as perfect as my Chromebook in terms of ease of use and not having to really solve any issues with the machine. So if you're looking for a used machine, check out a ThinkPad. I have an Amazon link below in the show notes for your convenience. They rock. They absolute rock. All right, I'm going to take a very short break here to get something to drink of water, and then we'll see if anybody has popped into the chat. So enjoy the video loop here, and I'll be right back. Do not go away. All right, I had forgotten I had some iced tea. Love me some iced tea. All right. So that's the ThinkPad T480 with Windows 11. All right, so let me switch and see if anybody's in the chat. This was an unscheduled live event, so I don't know if anybody's going to be in the chat. Like I said, I don't know when to schedule these anymore. It's hard to catch you guys post-pandemic. Let's see. All right, so I transition here, no BS. Let me check the YouTube chat and see if anybody's here. Let me refresh this. And all right, it looks like nobody. Somebody's in the chat. Okay. Michael, how are you, my friend? You have a T495 Windows 11 in a separate partition. The T495. Okay, how do you like your ThinkPad? Mine is absolutely stellar. Stellar. As all ThinkPads are. So I'm very happy with my T480. Again, Windows 11 on it so far has been flawless. Love me some Windows 11 because yeah, it's probably the best Windows out there since Windows 10. But Michael, how do you like yours? How's it worked out for you with Windows 11? So I'm assuming that you did a fresh install of Windows 11, right? Okay, so you love all your ThinkPads. Yeah. I have, this would be my third one. I got two older ones that had Windows XP and Windows 7. They're open, man, they just keep on rocking. So on those I installed the 32-bit of MX Linux, something lighter weight. They really can't handle that much. Just for web surfing and, streaming music and stuff like that, they're perfectly fine. But yeah, I love the metal hinges on these things. They're just solid machines. I mean, yeah. So I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, but They are just solid machines. So you love all your ThinkPads. You did a fresh install. Yeah. Uh, my fresh install took about 30 minutes, including some reboots. I did install extra software later, including the ThinkPad. I think there was a firmware update, something else, and the ThinkPad, or I'm sorry, the Lenovo Vantage software that checks like battery condition, you want to buy an extended warranty, information about the processor. If you have a ThinkPad, you probably know what I mean about the ThinkVantage software. Very, very user-friendly, Michael. So, yeah, you know what? I got this for less than $200. This was originally a $1,000 machine 5 years ago, so I can't complain. You know, I wanted something that could handle 4K video, and right now, nothing. Well, this Dell machine can handle 4K video, but my other desktops cannot, and that's why I got this. You have an E580, works okay with Windows 11. Never expect to keep it, never to keep it a Windows machine. Yeah, Windows 11 has been surprisingly good, Michael. It's, dare I say, it's when you do a fresh install, it's fairly lightweight. It feels lighter than Ubuntu, which was shocking. But anyway, it just works. So very happy with Windows 11, and both in this Dell that I'm streaming tonight from Windows 11. I don't use Windows 11 that much, but yeah, it's the best Windows out there since Windows 7 in my multiple tests. I think we talked about it, but have you ever messed with the Chromebook, Michael? I think you mentioned it, but I can't remember. But so far, what I have works pretty good. Chromebooks work pretty good. The speakers at the bottom of the laptops, I don't understand it, Michael. I don't. I mean, who has their ears next to their genitals? I mean, come on, manufacturers, wake up. Oh, you have two of those too. Okay, cool. Yeah, this one here with the extended battery, I get between, well, it says on the ThinkVantage software, I get about 8 hours on a full charge with the extended battery installed to the back of this machine. Again, the metal hinges are great, so solid machine. Both Acer Chromebooks, okay. Yeah, I have an older Acer with the speakers at the top, left and right, if you know what I mean. Man, it sounds like a boombox. I mean, it's outdated. It's running slow for a Chromebook, but the speakers are so nice. I kind of keep it like in storage in the garage to stream music or videos to hear what I'm working on in the car or whatever. But yeah, all laptop speakers should be at the sides of the top, not at the bottom. Just doesn't make sense. So the new one has a 12th gen Intel. Okay. Let's see. The ThinkPad I bought, it's 7, 8th gen, something like that. Again, for less than $200, it runs perfectly fine with Windows 11. Can't complain. Handles 4K video fine, so that's all that I needed. And if it lasts another 5 years, I'm cool with that. So yeah. The speakers being at the bottom is not the ideal place. They actually sound fairly loud and clear, even though the speakers are at the bottom of this. But again, it would be much better if they were at the top to the left and right side of the unit. It's fairly lightweight too with this. Even with the extended life battery, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. So before we continue with this, I'll stick around here. If anybody new is watching and would like to say hello, who have a question, please do. Always enjoy chatting with someone new. This is basically a technology entertainment channel. I talk about technology, of course, and try to throw in some entertainment stuff just to keep it fresh, and alive, and keep it fun. So if anybody new out there is watching now live, want to say hello, have a question, yeah, please do. I actually revived, for a friend of mine, his girlfriend, I revived a MacBook from 2011 that expired, well, according to Apple, it expired in 2017. I erased the hard drive on her MacBook and I was able to install Linux Mint. Best that I could do. She really wanted Mac OS on it, but yeah, because of the age of the unit, not going to happen. I don't think she wanted to spend another $1,000 for a new machine, considering the one she has is perfectly fine. But on her MacBook from 2011, I was able to install Linux Mint. I thought about putting in Chrome OS, but I thought, well, that might be too much of a drastic change. So I installed Linux Mint, and hopefully it'll work out for her. I checked the trade-in value for her unit. It was 0. Well, thank you, Apple. From $1,700 to 0. Computers got to be one of the worst investments that you can make, just like cars, right, Michael? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah. So, Michael, what other electronic toys do you have, or is it mainly your ThinkPads? So for those of you who are running Windows 10, I believe you got another year left before you need to move on to Windows 11, if I am not mistaken, right? I believe that's the case. So nothing wrong with Windows 11 on an older machine, and but yeah, as I've shown you, you can get a nice refurbished ThinkPad for $200 or less and install Windows 11 and be in good shape for the next few years at least. Speaking of operating system, disappointed that Ubuntu will not release an immutable system next month. I was curious to see how that would hold up against Chromebooks, so very, very disappointed. I guess it's not ready for public use, which I can certainly understand. I don't use regular Ubuntu anymore. I just cannot work with the GNOME desktop, although the Zoran's version of GNOME isn't bad, but yeah, GNOME just is not for me. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, just not user friendly. Anyway, Dark Horse Productions is in the house, straight from Hollywood. I don't know where you're from, but welcome, Dark Horse. Toshiba Satellite or ThinkPad. Yeah, does Toshiba even make laptops anymore? I actually have an older one that had Windows Vista that's banged up, so I don't really use it anymore. It's got cracks in it, but yeah, I remember Toshiba Satellite, absolutely. Aha, so you do have an ancient Toshiba Satellite, yeah. MX with Fluxbox, very lightweight. I don't think Fluxbox is for newbies. Special purpose computer, yeah, well, it has to be. So I'm assuming yours had Windows 7 or Windows Vista, if I had to guess, Dark Horse. But yeah, I don't really use mine. I might just give it away. It's in storage. But yeah, I remember the Toshiba Satellites. They were fairly solid machines. So yeah. Ah, so it had Windows 7. Okay, cool. Yeah, mine still has the original battery that still holds a charge, like an hour. It has power. That's right, Arnold. It's got more power. All right, so what else is new? Just watching the latest episodes of the Halo TV show. It rocks. This is definitely a better season than season 1 of Halo TV on Paramount Plus. 8 episodes this year, 6 already shown, 2 left. I guess it takes about 9 to 10 months to shoot a season of the TV show. It's a long time to be away from family, but the actors and all the guys, the crew on the show seem to enjoy what they're doing. But if you haven't already, check out the Halo TV show, based, of course, on the book Halo: The Fall of Reach and the Xbox games. Very good show. Very, very fun to watch, and I love that 4-wheel steering Jeep. To avoid all the potholes here, forget 4-wheel drive. You want 4-wheel steer, if you know what I mean. You have a newer one to refurb. Another satellite needs a battery, and the last one to refurb, ThinkPad T480. Integrated graphics needs a CMOS battery. Yeah, I got the T480 and it's fine. So that will be easy. Oh, it's you, Mark. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Cool. Welcome. From North Carolina. Very good. Yeah, the T480s came with, I believe, some of them came with the NVIDIA MX, I don't know, 150 something graphics cards for gaming and video editing. What I have will play games and video editing. It's just slow, but it will work. Hello, Joseph. Lots of changes. Asus laptop switched to Kubuntu 2310 with Butterfest. Laptop moved to Linux Mint. Very good with Cinnamon. I like Cinnamon. Cinnamon's on my top 3 list for Linux for beginners, right up there with Chrome OS and Zorin. So, yeah, Linux Mint is fine. In fact, when I stream Paramount Plus, I stream it in Linux Mint. Yeah, Fluxbox is like, let me think now. Isn't there one called Enlightenment desktop environment that's super light? I think. Again, it's been a few years since I messed with those, but yeah, I just stuck with the older ThinkPads with MX Linux, and it's fine. A featherweight distro? Yeah, if you're running Fluxbox, yeah. Can't believe it's supposed to snow here in Ohio tomorrow, man. Oh, that's right. The clocks go forward tonight, don't they? I just realized. Spring forward. Yuck. Lose an hour's sleep. Well, luckily I could sleep in the morning a little bit, so yeah. Yeah, I seldom use manual partitioning, Joseph. I think the only time I do manual is when I do Debian testing, but that's been a while too. So yeah, I don't usually recommend that for beginners. It might confuse them and scare them starting off. So. I guess the latest Linux news, the big news is what? The latest Plasma? KDE Plasma? It looks good. Plasma's not for me, but it looks good. So Joseph, you use time shift snapshots. See, that's one thing I do not use. You're leaving Pulseway and going with Iterion. Open source, which feels so nice. Loading. I'm not familiar with that. Remote machines management. Got it. Managing client devices. Gotcha. Saw a brief report that Linux might be up to 4% usage compared to Windows or Mac. I suppose if you count Chrome OS Chromebooks, I suppose that's possible. Chromebook usage exploded during the pandemic, beating out MacBook sales, so I suppose that's very possible. Like I said some while ago, I walked into my local Walmart and they had 8 different Chromebooks to choose from. That's fairly impressive here in a non-techie town, so that was good to see. Spiral Linux with Plasma. Interesting. Not familiar with that one. Yeah, I'm happy with what I did with my ThinkPad and installing Windows 11. Good deal on it. Of course, you know, ThinkPads, as I stated, rock solid machines for both Windows and Linux. They just last a long time, and yeah, very happy. Yeah, ThinkPads and Linux work perfectly fine. I was going to install, you know, something like Linux or Chrome OS on this, but I've had good luck with Windows 11, so that's what I have on it, and it works fine. These originally had Windows 10, but it was Windows 11 ready to go, so can't complain. Yeah, Windows 11 is pretty great now. It's I dare say with the fresh install with minimal software, all the tweaks, it's fairly lightweight. Uh, it it just works. So it's yeah, can't complain. Cannot make fun of it. I always got a kick out of the Windows 11 privacy settings. Yeah, if I think the best privacy setting is don't get on the internet, right? Let's see. Somebody new in how Rossi Spiller. Hello, Rossi. How are you? Welcome to the live stream. Does anyone know if the computing world is transitioning to ARM chips this year? Don't recall seeing anything about that. Can anyone answer that for Rossi? The ThinkPad's privacy shutter built in, I think, is pretty cool. Nice to have that. Yeah, I think, Joseph, I think scaling is still an issue with some Linux distributions from what I've seen. Not a problem with Windows 11. But in Linux, I generally avoid scaling. The big news again is ransomware. I don't know what it's up with corporations and hospitals, but I guess ransomware hit the healthcare system nationwide, a form of ransomware. And I don't get it. This is 2024, man. Why are you guys being hit like this? I know some companies have transitioned to Chromebooks, so with 4 layers of security, it is virtually impossible to get hit with ransomware on the Chromebook. So why don't they all switch? I mean, really? What's with the freaking ransomware still? Come on. I have seen Chromebook Plus prices come down a little bit on sale, which is nice. Those are higher end Chromebook machines, so people who want a little bit of upgraded hardware. Yeah, Mark, they should switch to the Chromebook. I've asked you guys, I've asked everybody who comes through here, if you've been hit with ransomware on a Chromebook, let me know. I've heard crickets. That's how quiet it's been. So yeah, they are secure. All right, it is time is it's 9:35 p.m. local time. I'll stick on a little bit longer. Yeah, Joseph, when they started off, Chromebooks generally had lower specs starting at 2 gig and up, but the Chromebooks Plus have changed that. Those start minimum 8 gigs and up and higher processors. The nice thing about the newer Chromebooks, you get minimum 10 years of support free of charge from Google, even with the $200 machine. So they're very, very price conscious for consumers, a great deal. Yeah, I think from 2021 on, you get 10 years of automatic support, free support, which I believe is the best out there, from what I understand. ThinkPads have always had nice feeling keypad. Metal hinges, great for these machines. I wonder what Windows 12 is going to be like. Can they improve on Windows 11? Just a thought. Yeah, the old Cadillac ThinkPads with Linux Mint. Yeah. I haven't really messed with Plasma lately. I think Linux Mint for new users, I think, is good enough. Plasma may be a little bit too much for beginners. Cinnamon is nice too. Little bit more resource intense, hungry, but cinnamon is nice. Let me see here. Who popped in? Rossi, what do you use, if I may ask? Do you use have you ever tried a ThinkPad or a Chromebook, if I may ask? Oh, Fide OS. Huh. On an old Sony Vaio. Interesting. I am not familiar with Fide OS. Rossi, what is that? The Chromebooks, rock solid, no bugs, maintenance free. The Chrome OS Flex, what it's called now, versus Chrome OS that I installed on 2 machines, seem solid also. And that's free. But Fide OS, I am not familiar with. All right, so a ThinkPad, Plasma, Linux Mint, dual boot. Okay, all right. Yeah, about a month or so ago, I tried an experiment. I live streamed with an expired Chromebook, the Acer 15. It's got to be 6-7 years old now, with just 2 gigs of RAM. It sputtered a little bit, but it worked. It worked using StreamYard. Yeah, it worked. Ah, you can't dual boot with ButterFS, huh? Uh-huh. Okay, so FideOS is it's a strange name, Fide. Like I'm thinking of Jekyll and Hyde. Anyway, FideOS is a Chrome OS clone, but heavily tweaked, so you can run Android Play Store apps. Ah, interesting. Is it like just as fast and as stable as regular Chrome OS? Same system requirements? All right, I need to grab another drink. I'll be right back. I turn on the furnace again because it's still winter and the air is so dry and I'm drinking more. I feel quite unstable. But anyway, I'll have to check it out. FightOS. Interesting. Strange name. I believe Chrome OS Flex, I believe you lose the ability to install Android apps, if I am not mistaken. The rest of it is perfectly fine. But when I tested it, I believe we lost the Android Play Store. Utah had a tumbleweed storm. Okay, near Salt Lake City. Now that's dry. Did it have a fedora tumbleweed storm? Very good. Well, here we had temperatures in the 60s, and then tomorrow night it'll be a sultry 29 freaking degrees. And this is how we get unstable and sick. And anyway. Got to remember when I end this thing, I got to put the clocks forward 1 hour. Because if not, I'll forget. High winds, yeah. Well, that was probably part of that major storm in California, right? How many feet of snow? Great for skiing. Or as Arnold would say, in California. Bah. Anyway. All right, so Rossi, it's unbelievably stable on hardware, much better than regular Chrome. Developers keep it updated as well. The best alternatives test-driven. Ah, okay. You're here in old Houston, Texas, where people are fat. Okay. If you say so. There's a there's an old Rodney Dangerfield joke, Rossi, where he says, "Let's face it, are you fat? When you go jogging, do you leave potholes?" Anyway. That's funny. All that Texas barbecue ribs or whatever. Well, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so even though I live in Ohio, yeah. Good old Rodney Dangerfield. Classic stuff. Yeah, open source. So it's open source tumbleweed? Yeah, right. I thought it was Fedora. Anyway. My friend, my singer friend Slim Man sends out a newsletter. He had a joke. He says, I'm writing a book about beer. I'm on my 4th draft. But Ah, anyway. Yep. There are some places I've never been to, like Utah. It looks, hey, to travel to the U.S. of A. I think would be a cool thing to do. So I'm not judging either. All right, so let's. I think we're going to wrap this up here in about 5 minutes or so, unless somebody else jumps in. We've been on about what, 50 minutes or so, less than an hour or so. Great to have you here as always. Wish we had more people, but this is okay. Had no plans for tonight. That's why I jumped on about an hour ago. So, and I hope this doing this helps somebody out who's considering about buying a refurbished computer. Definitely think about a ThinkPad, appropriately named ThinkPads. What did the octopus say to his girlfriend? I want to hold your hand, 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 hand. I think that's 8 hands, something like that. Old Valentine's Day joke. I still like it though. Yeah, I like watching like National Geographic and Travel Channel and stuff like that. Is cool to watch. I saw where Tom on Switch to Linux does a traveling thing with his van, and yeah, it is definitely beautiful scenery. Absolutely, very relaxing. Backups, I back up everything on external drives. Mark, yep. Back up and back up again and back up again and yep. So I don't care. Well, I care, but when I back up multiple times, I almost don't care if I get a crash on the drive or something breaks. So because of the backups, that's only way to be sure. So yeah. So is Texas, is Houston a Linux town, Rossi? Or is it just you? Denver is a Linux city. Yeah, System 76 is based there. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can wrap this up for this evening. Any final thoughts, suggestions, comments before we wrap this up now, while I'm remembering to put my clocks forward 1 hour. Yes, and test your backups regularly. Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's one thing I don't do, be quite honest, but that's not a bad idea. Yeah, Mark, later, Gator. But yeah, test your backups, absolutely. All right, so if there's nothing else, great to have everybody here for this casual Saturday evening chat. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys. And yeah, we'll do it again sometime. You guys know how to reach me if you have any suggestions. And if you haven't already subscribed and liked and all that, please do. And yeah, I actually finished up a video. I bought one of those lithium jump starters for cars, and I'll probably upload that tomorrow because the one I had just didn't work on a 6-cylinder engine. Not enough power. So anyway, Rossi says, how do we reach, how do you reach me? Yeah, the email. You can send me an email at totalostoday1@gmail.com, or I look at all the comments, Rossi. But usually send me an email, and yeah, you can do it that way if you want to. Yeah, that's how you can do it. And those of you who contribute through PayPal, that I get notifications at totalostoday@gmx.com. But you could also send an email that way if you want to. Yeah, email or a comment, and like I said, I look at all the comments when I have time. I may not have time to respond to every single comment, every single question. But Rossi, I hope that answers the question on how to reach me. I've been drinking this seltzer water from Kroger's. It's strawberry lemonade. 0 calories, and something different. I drink Diet Coke, Pepsi too, but they say it's not really good for you. So I try to, look at different alternatives. Anyway, this is seltzer water, strawberry lemonade, 0 calories. So yeah, it's it says with a little extra zest. Okay, fine. Whatever. Anyone ever tell you that you have a late night smooth groove voice? Well, thank you for radio. Yeah. Yes, I have been told that. I actually was told that back in college years ago. Lucky to have it. That tends to soothe the soul, as it were, for people who maybe had a rough day. I wish I could do this full time. But that being said, I enjoy doing these shows. Chatting with you helps me to unwind and relax. During the pandemic, I did quite a lot of this when people were stuck at home, of course, Rossi. But yeah, please do keep in touch. And yeah, so you know what, Rossi, thank you for the comment. I think we'll leave it at that. Always a pleasure. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. So have a good weekend, and don't forget to if you do, I think Indiana doesn't change time on their clocks, and Hawaii maybe. Anyway, if you have to change your clocks, spring forward. Don't forget, or you'll be late for work. Arrivederci. Take care.